Hit me baby one more time. As you can see, my chances of becoming the next Britney Spears are pretty much the same as chances of Russia of winning in this war. Maybe a little bit higher. Russia finalizes its relocation to the south, leaving the east to be even more exposed. Ukrainians attack the bridge once again, and at the same time they said that there will be no peace talks with Russia, not until they win completely. But more about all of this in a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian Dude, and I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And as always, let's begin with the map of the war update. To begin with, let's go to the south, where in this video you can see that Ukrainian army was able to destroy military vehicles of Russians. And if we go to this small city of Novomayachka, we can see another video of Ukrainians destroying another military object of Russians. And pretty much yes, at this very moment, the destruction of military warehouses of Russians in Novokakhovka becomes the tradition of Ukrainians every single day. And this is exactly what we see in this video. And before I talk about another Russian infiltrator being terminated in Kherson region, here is the video from Chaplinka, where allegedly Ukrainians were able to destroy a military object of Russians using HIMARS missiles. And now let's talk about this Russian infiltrator. So the person we are talking about is Vitaly Gura, who was the Russian infiltrator in Novokakhovka. And just like with another failed Russian infiltrator in this region, Vladimir Saldo, who was poisoned last week, there was an assassination attempt against this Vitaly Gura in Novokakhovka. It has been reported that he has been shot several times at his own house in Novokakhovka, and he died while being transported to the hospital in Crimea. In several seconds I'll talk about the Russians who confirmed their plans that they want to destroy the nuclear power plant in Zaporozhie in case things do not go their way. But first of all, here is an update from Melitopol. According to this video, which you can see right now, one of these nights, Ukrainian army was able to destroy a military headquarters of Russians in this city. Alright, and now let's go to Zaporozhie Nuclear Power Plant, located right here in Enerhodar. If you remember, last week Russians were attacking this nuclear power plant, and as a result, electrical equipment has been damaged. And recently, according to several reports, Russians resumed their attacks. And in this video right here, you can see Russians planting mines on the territory of this nuclear power plant. In addition to that, you can see several military vehicles going inside the plant itself, which is the direct confirmation of the Western intelligence that Russians are using the territory of this power plant as their protection. Because in the worst case scenario, according to this picture, you can see the areas which will be severely affected. In case there is a nuclear catastrophe in this plant, the least what people expect is the complete uninhabitants in this inside dark orange circle. The Major General of the Russian army, Valery Vasilyev, said that in the worst case scenario for Russia, the country will be ready to destroy this nuclear power plant. What he says is that this territory must be either Russian or it must not belong to anyone. Alright, very soon I'll be talking about Ukrainians attacking Antonovskiy Bridge once again. But first of all, here is a very quick update from Nikopol and Kryvyi Rogh. As you can see, one of these nights, Russians were attacking this city, and unfortunately, as a result of these attacks, a civilian infrastructure was damaged. The next attack of Russians was against Kryvyi Rogh, but as you can see from this video, the air defense system prevented these attacks. Alright, and now let's look at something pretty funny. According to Russian propaganda, they were able to destroy 45,000 tons of military equipment of Ukrainians in Voznesensk. But if we press on this button in the bottom left corner, which shows us most recent artillery and missile strikes, we can see that there is literally not a single attack which was close to this city. And then, this past Saturday, August 6th, Russians claimed that they were able to destroy this HIMARS system which was used to attack Antonovskiy Bridge. And guess what? The very same night Ukrainian army attacked this bridge once again. The very next morning, Russian propaganda started showing us this video which showed the results of night attacks. And as you can see, even though they were trying to show the smallest holes in the bridge, they're still pretty big. And as you can see, all these mirror pyramid deflectors that they were installing last week, they're completely useless. Which is basically exactly what I was talking about. And before we talk about Russians wanting to end this war as soon as possible by holding these separation referendums, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you like this style of daily updating. But first, literally just several seconds about the attacks against the south and west of Ukraine. First of all, in this picture you can see that there was several missile attacks against Odessa, but Ukrainian air defense system was able to intercept these missiles, which were allegedly Kinjal missiles. Our next stop is in the city of Uman, and as you can see right here, Ukrainian air defense system was also able to intercept Russian missiles. But unfortunately, the debris from this missile damaged some civilian buildings. And finally, we have this video from Vinnytsia, where unfortunately a couple of Russian missiles reached their final destinations. Alright, and now as promised, let's talk about Russians wanting to end this war, but they still don't want to say it directly. And what I mean by that is that Russian infiltrator in Zaporozhie region, Evgeny Balitsky, he signed an order about having this separation referendum and joining the territory of Russia. As you can see from this video, they handpicked several hundred residents of this territory inside some kind of a town hall. Then this video was recorded and distributed by Russian propaganda just to show that the residents of this Zaporozhye region, they want to become a part of Russia. But I mean, just listen to the way these people clap. That's definitely not normal. Which most likely means there was something like Russian soldiers behind the camera pointing guns at these residents and saying, you need to clap right now. But anyways, the reason why I think this referendum is basically Russia trying to end this war while they still can is the following. As you can see, right now, Ukraine is pretty dominant in the south and it will only become better in the nearest future, and soon I will talk why. At the same time, Russians are relocating from the east to the south, which means that the eastern region becomes less defended. Which means that based at least on these two things, Russians realize that time is on Ukraine's side. And once again, while they still can, Russia wants to claim that they were able to liberate these parts of Ukraine. And at the same time, we have this statement from President Zelensky, who basically says that in case Russia does have these referendums, all the peace talks in the future will no longer be possible. In response to that, the press secretary of Russia, Dmitry Peskov, he said that it is not Russia who is doing these referendums, these are Ukrainians who live in the Zaporozhye region who want to be with Russia. But anyways, before we talk about major events from the east, here is a pretty ridiculous news from Mariupol. The Russian infiltrator in Donetsk region, Denis Pushilin, he is saying that he wants to prosecute Azovstal prisoners as a tribunal. And in addition to that, Russians were spotted building these literally animal cages. It was then even assumed that these prisoners of war from Azovstal will be driven around Donetsk in these metal cages just like animals. And I mean, yes, we do live in the 21st century, but it does not look like that Denis Pushilin knows this. Alright, and now let's talk about the east. In this first video from Donetsk, we can see military warehouse of Russians being destroyed by Ukrainians. And in another video from the neighboring Makivka, we can see another military warehouse of Russians on fire. And at the same time, as this video from Donetsk, we can see civilian buildings being destroyed. And immediately, Russia blamed Ukrainians for this attack. But even the local residents of Donetsk themselves, they were kind of suspicious, because these attacks came from the east. Which basically means if we zoom out from this city, we can see that the entire eastern part of this region is occupied by Russia. The next event comes to us from Bakhmut, and as you can see from this picture, Russians were attacking this city. And in this video, allegedly from Cherkasskaya region, we can see Ukrainians destroying Russian tank T-80 using javelins. And by the way, if you want to see a full video of this ambush, in addition to all the other extra footage that I was not able to use in my today's episode, please consider joining my Patreon. All the Patreon memberships will be donated to Ukraine at the end of each month, and you can find all the necessary links down below. In several seconds I'll be showing you the devastating attacks against Kharkov and some other cities, But first of all, really quick update about the advancements in the east. First of all, Russians were concentrating their attacks against Verkhnokamenskaya, and Ukrainians were able to resist all of these attacks so far. The next direction of attack of Russians was to the southeast of Bakhmut. They were trying to capture the small town of Zaitsevo, but Ukrainians were able to resist it as well. But if we go a little bit to the south, over the last couple of days, Russians were able to advance next to Hladasove. And if we go even more to the south, we can see that Russians were able to contest more territory next to Marinka. And unfortunately, we have even worse news from the south of Izium. As you can see from this map, Russians were able to advance significantly next to Dovhenke and Dolina. But the bad news, unfortunately, does not end here, because every single day for the last couple of weeks, Russians were shelling Kharkov. And as you can see from this video, the majority of these missiles came from Belgorod. And unfortunately, as a result of these attacks, many civilian buildings in Kharkov were damaged or destroyed. It might seem like that it's getting pretty bad for Ukraine recently, but very soon I will show you that in fact it's completely opposite. But first of all, here is the video of Ukrainians intercepting Russian drone in Sumy. And in addition to that, we have this picture from Kiev region. And at this very moment, it is not entirely clear what caused this, but most likely this is the result of the air defense system of Ukrainians. Alright, and now let me dispel your anxiety, because in fact the situation is much better for Ukrainians than it seems. First of all, according to Alexei Arestovich, and you probably already heard about this, Russia at this very moment has almost finalized relocating almost 25,000 of its soldiers to the south. It is estimated that the majority of these forces are located to the west of Dnipro river, and most likely their target will be the capturing of the city of Mykolaiv. It is also anticipated that in case Russians are successful, their next target will be Odessa. Another big reinforcement of Russians is expected in Novokakhovka. And one of the main reasons why Russians want to focus on the south so much is to push the borders of the war a little bit further. And the reason for this, it is so that Ukrainians are no longer able to use HIMARS effectively. But let me tell you what, America already officially announced their next support package for Ukraine worth of $1 billion. This is the same military support package I was talking about last week, and most likely it will have extended range missiles for HIMARS and 1,000 more javelins. In addition to that, in this video, which came to us from the country of Romania, a convoy of HIMARS was spotted moving in the southeastern direction. And just to show you how important these HIMARS for Ukraine, here is the map of destroyed military objects of Russians just for the first week of August. And as you can see, 21 military warehouses and 20 military headquarters were destroyed, and the majority of them were in the south, which is just another confirmation of the dominance of Ukrainians in this region. But wait, there is more. According to, once again, our favorite Alexei Arestovich, the partisan movement of Ukrainians in the south is increasing dramatically. And this basically means that there will be even more ambushes from now on. And yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention that the majority of these 25,000 Russian soldiers in the south, they came from the east. Which I guess it's no longer rocket science to understand. It means that the defenses of Russians in this region has decreased significantly. So what do we have right now? In the east, the number of Russian soldiers is decreasing every single day, and the majority of them go south, whereas you can already see Ukrainians are dominating. Most likely what will happen, in my personal opinion, is that this Russian counteroffensive in the south will fail completely. And after this, there'll be a big panic and misunderstanding among Russian forces, which will allow Ukraine to start retaking the east. This idea is also indirectly confirmed by the advisor to the president of Ukraine, Mikhailo Podolyak, who is saying that Ukraine will no longer have any peace talks with Russia. He's basically saying that he's extremely confident in the victory of Ukraine, and the only time when they have peace talks with Russia is when Russia will be defeated. And to sum up absolutely everything, here is the map with the percentage of Ukrainians who are not willing to give up territories just to be at peace with Russia. And as you can see, even the eastern part of Ukraine, these so-called Luhansk and Donetsk independent regions, 77% of this population is not ready to end this war on the terms of Russia. Today's episode was definitely longer than usual, that is why I decided to keep my ridiculous Russian propaganda in my Discord. And if you want to see basically what happened, feel free to join it. And if you want to support my work, please consider becoming my channel member. All the useful links will be down below. Thank you so much for your attention, stay safe and see you tomorrow.